Hello and welcome, thanks for tuning in, it's nice to have you with us. A local hardware store had a sale going on for the Kärcher K2, which is why I got myself this machine in order to answer you a very simple question, but a question that is asked a lot in car detailing, especially amongst the beginners of you, which is the smallest machine by Kärcher, the K2, enough to wash your car? So we start with a little unboxing of everything that is in there. Of course, instructions and safety instructions in several languages. Put that there. Then we have two different lances. The one for ground cleaning and then the one for the regular pressure washer, which is not adjustable in any direction and also not in the pressure. Then we have the gun itself, which is not electronic. It also has no adjustability for the pressure there. There's the attachment for the water hose. Then there's the trigger, which has a safety which you can put out, and now it's not going anywhere. And then you depress it and now it can be moved. Nice. We have the attachment point for the water hose. Then we have the water hose itself, which is typically Kärcher, very sturdy, very robust, but this comes at the disadvantage that it curls curls up. We'll talk about that in a minute. Then we have two wheels, plastic, hard plastic, not rubberized, but with a nice Kärcher logo there, 2 times that. Then we have the actual handle with the attachment points to the actual machine there. We will put that there, and then we have the machine itself. Ooh, that is so nice. It is very, very, very light. I normally use much heavier pressure washers, so this is a rather pleasant surprise. Of course, the power cable is there, and now we can have a look at the machine. We have a short look at the instructions and safety instructions available in several different languages. And if we go to the English one, there you see hazard levels, electric components, safe handling, other risks, working with detergents, and everything written in there. Very comprehensive. Then we have the components list and instructions to build it up, which you can see there are several different versions of the K2, but for every of those versions there's also a very comprehensive list of components with all the numbers written on it, which means it is very easy and straightforward to build this machine up. I would say this is pretty much foolproof.
They told me that wasn't gonna get far. So I told them like this, look. My adversaries crumble when we rumble. It's a catastrophe on anybody who tryna hate, come and blast at me. I've been in this for a minute. See how I graduated from rookie to beginner, but now I'm winning on the road.
As you can see, the K2 is built up, which means we can now have a closer look at the machine. All in all, I have to say, for the approximately 100 to 120 bucks that you pay for the K2, you get quite a lot of machine, and it's actually also of rather high quality. All the plastics which are on there, they are not flimsy, they are not thin, they actually feel rather sturdy and thick, so there's a thumbs up for that. Then I was also very surprised about the length of the power cable there, which is a lot longer than with a lot of the bigger machines that you get. So another thumbs up to Kärcher for that. I also like that all the accessories which come with the K2 can be stored within the machine itself, which means the power cable has a handle here. You can wrap the water hose around the handle there. You can attach all the different lances back there, and you also have a separate handle for the gun there. In fact, I only found 3 very little things I don't like that much, which is that if you leave the lance attached to the gun, then you cannot store it here on the side, but you have to store it back there, which means you have to click it in. This is a very, very small criticism, but with bigger machines by Nilfisk, by Krensle, by Kärcher or by AVA of Norway, you can leave the lance attached to the gun and still store it in the respective area. Then we definitely have to talk about the hose that comes with it. The advantage is that it is a very sturdy and very robust hose, which means that this one will last you 10, 20, 30 or even more years. But it has the tendency to curl up, which means that it is incredibly cumbersome to straighten it up when you work with it. It is incredibly cumbersome to curl it again when you want to store it. And it also only is 4 meters long, which means that you constantly have to take this machine with you when you go around the car. And all of this probably is the reason that the hose is the part of every Kärcher that gets swapped out so many times, for example, for steel reinforced cables. And then there's a third thing which has to do with the attachment points of the hose. The attachment itself is very simple, very straightforward, especially with the gun. However, when you want to detach it, especially down here on the machine, this is a pain in the ass, and this probably also is the only difficulty that you could run into when you install it, and that's why we'll have a closer look at it now. That's how the gun is delivered that comes with the K2, and now to install the hose, you have to move this yellow part forwards, and in order to do so, you need to depress on the sides and then slide it forward, yes. And you need to slide it forward all the way, because if you have a look at this hole, the yellow things have to be away completely, and now you can take the hose, which you can see is wider there as it is there, so it only attaches in one direction. You stick it in, you close this, and now it's ready to go. And to detach it, you again depress on the sides, and that works perfectly fine. However, on the machine itself, it is a little bit of a pain in the ass, and I'll actually take you with me and have a closer look. You need to move this gray part here upwards, and you only have this small latch here which you have to move upwards. And you can now have a closer look when I try to do that. You're live with me, and you can see how much it takes to do so. Now you heard the click, and now it can be removed. The funny thing is, if the hose is not attached in here, it works perfectly fine and easy, but as soon as the hose is attached, it goes very hard. Which is not the end of the world, because it is very unlikely that you remove the hose all the time, but it is something that I wanted to mention, which is a pain in the ass with the K2, but that's just something I wanted to show you. We can now talk about the performance stats of the Kärcher K2, because they are written on there, so I don't have to recall them. It has a pressure of 110 bars, it pumps out 360 liters of water an hour, and it has 1,400 watts of power. Now for comparison, the K7, the top of the line consumer model by Kärcher, pumps out up to 180 bars and 600 liters an hour. I already told you that there are different versions of the K2. This is normal with Kärcher. They do it for all their pressure washers, which means there is a normal, a standard K2, then there is a K2 compact, which doesn't come with wheels. I will have a look at this machine in a separate video, because I actually think it's a rather tiny, small and sweet machine. Then there's the K2 Basic, the K2 Premium, the K2 Premium Full Control, and the Premium Full Control Home. Home normally means that you get an attachment with which you can clean different ground surfaces. But the main thing that you have to keep in mind with this video is that I think, if I'm informed right, that the new K2 comes as a full control, which means that you can adjust the pressure that it pumps out on the lens or on the gun. This model that I have here, and I think that's the reason why there's a sale going on for it, you cannot adjust the pressure, which means that it pumps out 110 bars of pressure all the time. Plus, the new one comes with a detachable telescopic handle, but those are the main two differences, if I'm not mistaken, which means we can now start with testing this machine whilst washing cars. As you can see, I equipped myself not only with the K2, which we have a look at in this video, but also a Kärcher K5, which is the second highest model that Kärcher offers. As you can see, I equipped myself not only with the K2, which we have a look at in this video, but also a Kärcher K5, which is the second highest model that Kärcher offers for consumers. And then I also have an AVA P80, which is the top of the line model by AVA, which is the equivalent to a Kärcher K7. In order to test how good the K2 is capable of cleaning a car, I will do three things. First, I have a light traffic film here on this car, and I will try to remove it with just the pressure washers. And there we will see if the K2 with its 110 bars is as good at cleaning such a light traffic film as a K5 with 140, 150 bars and the AVA P80 with 160 bars. Then I will attach a snow foam lens, the same snow foam lens, to all those three pressure washers, and we will see how good the quality of the foam is depending on how high the pressure of these pressure washers is and how much water they pump out. And then I will foam the whole car and will try to remove the snow foam with the K2. I will not do that with these two machines because I know that these are definitely enough powerful to do that, but I want to check if the K2 is also capable of doing that. After those three tests, I will use the K2 for everything I do in the next couple of weeks, meaning product testing, also washing my own cars and washing cars of community members who visit me. And then I will give you my final conclusion to the question if the Kärcher K2 is enough powerful for car detailing. One tip from me: before you run the machine the first time, you attach the water hose, but you do not turn on the machine. And then you depress the trigger here on the gun. And then you wait until there is a constant water flow in there and it does not stop like it does now, because only then there is water and just water in this whole system and the hose, and there's not air in it. And only if it does that, then you turn it on for the first time. Before we start, we will have a look at what we are dealing with. Now, because I am a tester, I have here on this car, you see there are the borders, two different waxes here on the left and on the right side. So I can only use the right side in order to have a consistent side here on which I can test, because if I would also use this one, then the test results could be flawed, because this wax that is on there could have a better self-cleaning or easy to clean effect than this side. So I have to use this whole side here. And as you can see, we have the typical traffic film that is on such a car after a certain amount of time. And we can now test if the 110 bars of pressure of the K2 are enough. I will use the K2 there, then the K5 left next to it, and then the AVA P80 on this side. So as you saw, I sprayed all the 3 different sections, and now I grabbed myself a few of those makeup pads, and now we will see what's what. I'll start here on the plastic part where I used the K2, then here the K5, and here the AVA P80, and here on the plastics there is no difference, K2, K5, P80. So the plastics are rather well cleaned, and now I will do the same on these very low panels here, because there normally is the most amount of dirt. Yeah, K2, K5, and P80. I will now have a look. Yeah, K2, K5, P80. Yes, there are some differences. I would say this one cleans the best, followed by the K5. And then the K2, however, the differences are not huge. I will now repeat it on the upper parts with 3 new pads. Maybe there's a difference on the upper parts. There was the K2. I will do several lines now. Yeah, K2, K5, and P80. Yeah, and still about the same results. I would say this cleaned the best, but there are not huge differences between the 3 test sections. So that's what we always tell you. A pressure washer and water alone are not enough to get rid of traffic film. Okay, now interesting test. So we will continue with the foam lens experiments. For this test, I will use the MTM PF22 snow foam lens, the old one with the old bottle. I use this because I like it, because I think it's amongst the best snow foam lenses there are, because it does not use a lot of product, which is important based on the amount of testing I do. It's also very high quality, and most importantly, it creates reliably the thickest and the most amount of foam amongst all the snow foam lenses there are, and that's what I found out about it. As a snow foam, I will use the Stjarnagloss Snö, because I like it, because it creates a very nice foam, because it smells nice but not too strong, and therefore you now know everything that you need, and we can start testing. Extremely interesting results, because the MTM foam lens is normally a fantastic foam cannon. However, it does not work with the Kärcher K2, and I think it has something to do with how it is built inside of there, and that the pressure and the amount of water that the K2 pumps out is simply not enough in order for it to work properly. Very interesting. That's the beauty of those tests and videos we do for you, because if you rely on people recommending you that you buy such a foam lens, and if you have a K2 and then it doesn't work, it is very disappointing, because that is not a cheap foam lens, which is why we will now also test how a box standard Mjjc snow foam lens, which you can buy on Amazon, works with the K2. Aha! As you can see, with the right snow foam lens, and this is a box standard Mjjc snow foam lens that you can buy cheap on Amazon, the K2 is able to create a nice snow foam. So yeah, you see, it is not underpowered to do so. As you can see, typical picture of this snow foam lance. I'll show it to you again. First, when the snow foam comes out, it is rather nice and white, but overall it is way too watered down in order to stick to the car. And that's the typical picture of this foam lance, and it has nothing to do with the Kärcher K2. So you now saw how the Kärcher FJ6 works with the cheap K2, and also how the more expensive MTM foam lance works with this small machine. What we'll now do is do a direct comparison of how these two snow foam lances work with the Kärcher K5 and the AVA P80 in order to see if these two lances, and especially the Kärcher one, work better with more powerful machines. So now that we know which snow foam lance works with the K2 the best, I will now foam the whole car in order to then test how well the K2 can remove the snow foam.
They told me I wasn't gonna get far. So I told them like this, look. My adversaries crumble when we rumble, it's a catastrophe on anybody who tryna hate, come and blast at me. I've been in this for a minute, see how I graduated from rookie to beginner, but now I'm winning on the road. Backing up and selling our shows, but let's rewind the tape a bit and let them all know who came to rock the floor, Jay, who knocks the most, Willis. I creep up on the come up, whether they hate it or feel this. Next in line to come and battle me quick, man, you don't wanna see me in this circle, I'm killing you, kid. Young Jay, I'm bad. They told me I wasn't gonna get far. So I told them like this, look. Who's back? Watch me lean back, see how I ride. I gotta do my thing, check 1, 2 on the mic. And when we go, you know there ain't no stopping us, right? Because we party every day just like it's 1999. Watch me lean back, see how I ride. I gotta do my thing, check 1, 2 on the mic. And when we go, you know there ain't no stopping us, right? Because we party every day just like it's 1999. I put everybody that won any issues in a line. Step them up, I started out battle rapping, so I can just flip the script in a minute to these rhymes. See, that's a whole school of wannabe rappers that's out of.
So, conclusion to the Kärcher K2. What I like about it is that it is, for its size, for its weight and for its price, a rather sturdy, a rather robust machine. That the water hose that it comes with is also very sturdy and very durable. That's the reason why it is like it is. The power cable, as I already mentioned in the beginning of this video, is rather long. I like that you can store all the accessories that it comes with in the machine itself. And I also realized while working with it that it is a comparably silent machine, but yes, that has something to do with its power output. What I don't like about it, and this is a love-hate relationship with this water hose, because yes, it is durable, yes, it is sturdy, but it has the tendency to curl up, which can be a pain in the ass when working with it and when storing it. And it also is a rather short one because it only has 4 meters of length. But the hose is something that you can swap out, but then of course additional costs will occur. What I also realized while working with it is that with the water hose attachment back there, but that's maybe an issue with our water hose that we have here, I sometimes had to apply a lot of force in order to click it in, but as I said, that could be an issue with our water hose here. So all in all, I have to admit that the K2 is a pleasantly, surprisingly good pressure washer. But that was not the question of this video. It was, is the K2 enough to wash your car with? And my answer to that question is a loud and clear yes. Because no matter what I threw at it, I was able to wash several cars during the last couple of weeks. I used it a lot, I used it heavily, and it almost never failed me. The only slight hitch is the thing with the snow foam lands, because depending on which lands you use, the results can vary. The Kärcher snow foam lands is rubbish, it's shit, but it does not matter which pressure washer you use it with, it never works. And then very high quality ones like the MTM Hydro PF22 snow foam lands, for example, obviously can't cope with the low amount of pressure and water that the K2 pumps out. So you probably have to experiment a little bit with different snow foam lances, but we showed you that a box standard Mjjc from Amazon works perfectly fine with the K2. However, you will probably never be able to create the thick shaving cream-like snow foam that we all love to see so much, except if you use a lot of snow foam and therefore a lot of product. And I also don't think that the Kärcher K2 is the perfect choice for all you professionals out there, because I think if you wash a lot of cars, if you wash very dirty cars, then you will probably find the limitations of your job and especially the K2 over time. But I stand by what I said. If you just wash your car at home and you're looking for an entry-level machine, the Kärcher K2 is perfectly fine. It's a fantastic machine and definitely gets a thumbs up and a recommendation from me. If you like this video, leave us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.